Well, welcome to Fair Chase Adventures. On this video here, I'm going to touch a little bit on tracking a deer. What I did last night is I shot a doe out of my double bull blind. She came in, bedded about 15 yards away, and when I took the shot, she jumped up and ran off. Checked the arrow, and it looked like it was a little far back, but I thought I shot her pretty decent, so I gave her till this morning, and I came out here and checked it. And I want to show you this trail real quick, where the blood trail is. We have a lot of leaves, and if you start walking in on these leaves, you're going to flip them over, and you're not going to be able to see the blood. Now, if you look really close, right down here, I don't know if you can see that or not, but there is a little bit of blood on that leaf right there. Okay? Now, if you were to walk over this thing, they would flip that over and you'd never be able to see it. A little bit on that piece of grass right there, too. So be careful when you're walking into the woods when you're tracking the deer. Now, this trail is actually, pretty unique, and a lot of guys have ran into this situation. There's a good blood sign, going in here. And what this deer did is it walked through this trail, and we have really good blood sign all over inside here. But what it did is it walked through here and made a big loop. It made a loop through the woods, came back in on the same trail again. And I'm going to walk through here real quick and show you where it went. As you see here, there's like I said, there's good blood trail, and you can see the blood is splashing up onto the leaves, which means the deer is walking this way. So I follow this trail. Followed it through, and like I said, it's a good trail, and the blood goes all the way through here. You can see here we got some foam, so we knew that she was coming through here. Here the deer turns. And as it turns, it follows all the way through the edge of the woods here. Comes back in some of the brushier, thicker stuff, and came back out right here. And you can see now, like I said before, it's splashing up on the backside of the leaves, and went right back out the same trail. Now this turns into a nightmare for some of the hunters. When you have a trail like this, especially in this time of year when there's no snow and there's a lot of tall grass and you're trying to follow them, it gets pretty tough to follow this trail. Don't let off. Think to yourself, if this was a huge buck, would I be stopping right now if it came back out here and I lost blood trail? Absolutely not. You'd go find all the friends you have and have them come out here and try to track it. Do the same thing for any deer you shoot, even if it's a smaller yearling, if it's a doe. I don't care. Follow up on the game that you shoot, and you'll find them. So what I did is I followed back out of this trail here, went back out in the field, and I found another speck of blood, and it went over this log here, and right here on that leaf. Now you can see again, like I said before, it's inside this leaf, which means that the deer was traveling this way. This is not a spot that came back. You can see these leaves here are over top of that blood, so I had to follow in here. If you look at that blood spot, it actually hit, and you can see where it's slid forward. So I followed this blood trail back out here, and I completely lost it in this grass. I checked everywhere, and if you look at this grass here, it's pretty tough to see it. Now, this deer could have tracked back on the same trail again, and you'd have a hard time finding out where it went. So I walked through for about an hour, back and through this grass, trying to figure out, check every trail and see if I can find where this deer went to. And lo and behold, if you look over here, only about 30 yards off here, there's my deer. So it pays to keep on the track and keep looking. If that deer would have been 100 yards out in the field, I would have had to get some more friends out here and we would have to walk back and forth to find this thing. And like I said, I don't care if it's a small deer, a nice doe, or a buck. Use every resource you have to find your deer. Don't let it lay out here and let the other animals eat it. Well, this is the deer I shot last night. Like I said, it was bedded down, and the shot looks pretty good. It was right behind the front shoulder, where I thought would have been a good shot, but it came out more of the center of the body, so the deer was a little bit quartering to me. It's a little bit low light last night when this deer bedded down next to the double bull, and I took the shot. Didn't get the camera on the animal when I shot, so I didn't get that on film. So I'm bringing this to you now so you can see it. The shot looks good. The Carbon Tech whitetail, did its job, went all the way through, and we're shooting the Grim Reaper broadheads, and it's ripped a hole in this animal. And I didn't think it would go that far. Well, actually, this deer traveled, close to 300 yards before it went down. And when we clean this out, I'm going to check and see where the shot was, because it shouldn't have went that far, but sometimes these deer do. So like I said, stay on it, stay on the track, and don't give up. When I shot, my arrow came out a clear green substance, and I thought that it might have been a farther back shot, and that's why I left it overnight. When we pulled it apart, what actually happened is that Grim Reaper went through, busted one of the ribs, and it pushed the rib right up to the top of the stomach and just made a little tiny it pushed it right into it. And that's where some of the stomach matter came out of it. But I mean, when we cleaned it out, it was still clean inside. One lung was completely shredded, and that's where she was, spitting up the bubbles and foam and stuff. So this deer should have never gone as far as it did. Like I said, it was almost 300 yards, and I followed the blood trail up into here, and finally found her out in the field. So I can't emphasize enough to follow these trails. There's no way this deer would have ever lived, and if I wouldn't have, if this deer would have been in a taller grass or something, it would have been a tough one to find. So like I said, make sure you stay on that trail.